The Wall Street Journal in this article is calling, or at least saying out loud, that maybe Caitlin Clark's civil rights are actually being violated. Is her right to a peaceful workplace, a non-hostile work environment, are those rights being violated by the
She didn't just play basketball, she survived a weekly episode of Law & Order, Referees Gone Rogue. Every time Cece stepped on the court, it was like her civil rights filed for early retirement. Whistles, selectively blind. Fouls, only count if she breathes near someone. Welcome to the Twisted Sports saga where playing fair meant good luck, girl. If you thought injustice only happened in courtrooms, wait till you see what they did to Cece in gym shorts. Buckle up. This gets ridiculous.
All of y'all who said we were exaggerating, Caitlin Clark's not getting fouled, bruh. It's to the point where we have this going on. We're talking, now there's articles about her civil rights being like thrown out. It is crazy. It is crazy.
Cece's career in the WNBA is turning into a contact sport so brutal, you'd think she accidentally signed up for a Hunger Games reboot. Forget finesse, forget the three-point artistry. No, the real action is happening every time she tries to get past half court without being mugged like she's carrying the last roll of toilet paper during a pandemic.
Caitlin Clark, the Department of Justice, and quite possibly the President of the United States himself. Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it. But one thing I will not do is take credit for this. I am looking at the Wall Street Journal. The author of the article is a guy by the name of Sean McLean. Let me read to y'all the opening couple of graphs because I want you to hear the impact of this. This is serious.
We're watching a league claim to be about empowerment while letting a generational talent get tackled like she owes someone child support. Every game, it's like, how creative can we get in assaulting Caitlin today? Elbows, check. Hip checks, sure. Forearm to the ribs during a layup, why not? It's starting to feel like her jersey should be replaced with one that reads, "Kick me, I'm talented."
For a lot of y'all not honest with yourselves, I've been telling y'all it's all documented from this season, and I've pulled up clips from last season. We obviously see the targeting. We obviously see the jealousy. We obviously see the hatred. We see it all. Whether you're gonna be honest or not, we see it. Y'all can't come with this excuse of, oh, it's just physical. Bro, Caitlin had like majority of the flagrant fouls last season. Most of them went.
But don't worry, the league isn't ignoring the issue. Oh no, they're just studying it. Probably assembling a very professional committee of people who've never seen a basketball game, led by someone who thinks WNBA stands for "We're Not Bothering Anyone." Their current disciplinary method is apparently based on vibes and blindfolded darts thrown at a wall full of random punishments.
WNBA, y'all are in trouble. I told y'all didn't want to protect my precious CC. Now y'all getting hit with a civil lawsuit for targeting. You hear me? And then this stuff is documented. That don't even make no sense from players just speaking freely, thinking that they won't have no consequences. That means somebody had them on the payroll. You know what I'm saying? She done had 4 injuries within like a month and a half. Disgusting.
Now, you might ask, why does Caitlin keep getting fouled so violently? Great question. Because she's good. Too good. The kind of good that turns defensive plays into episodes of Real Housewives. Elbow edition. You'd think the other teams would just practice harder. But no. Violence is faster and, apparently, more fun to officiate. And by officiate, I mean ignore completely while sipping Gatorade and filing your nails.
Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. So, I don't really talk about politics, but once politics enter my world, my rule is, I say this, we got to talk about it. So, politics are coming to our world, my world, sports, and now in Caitlin Clark's world, which is so unfortunate. I feel sorry for Caitlin Clark because she's a pawn of this whole thing, and I think Caitlin Clark needs to speak up. I'm tired of her being silent.
Meanwhile, the refs seem to be participating in some sort of witness protection program mid-game. You'd swear they're being paid per missed call. CC gets clotheslined, and the official's too busy watching the Jumbotron replay of his own failure. Maybe someone should check if the refs are secretly holding a grudge from her college days, because at this rate, even Wile E. Coyote is taking notes on how many times this girl has been ambushed with zero consequence. And don't you just love how certain people are suddenly allergic to acknowledging the elephant in the room? Or should we say the 6 feet 9 inches center built like a Marvel villain bulldozing through every screen like she's clearing space in a mosh pit? But no, let's keep pretending this is just you elbow a rookie, instant street cred. You flatten double C, boom, highlight reel. Want to trend on Twitter? Slam her to the ground and pose over her body like you just won a UFC belt. Nothing screams women supporting women like treating your most marketable player like a human crash dummy.
How bad? You know how bad and nasty things gotta be for the Wall Street Journal to talk about going after y'all for her civil rights being violated? Do you know how bad it has to get? That's how nasty things have become. And you guys like to sit there and make it seem like we're making things up. We're not making nothing up. Kathy Engelberg treats Caitlin Clark like she's a headache and a disservice to the league.
And don't even get us started on the people saying, well, she should toughen up. Right, because when your kneecaps are relocated to your upper thighs and your spine is realigned via airborne elbows, the obvious solution is mental resilience. Next thing you know, they'll be giving her a helmet and calling it character building. You'd think someone, anyone, at the WNBA offices might realize that letting your brightest star get manhandled nightly on national TV is not the marketing strategy they were aiming for. Instead of growing the game, they're growing Caitlin's bruises. The only thing going viral is footage of her getting thrashed, like she wandered onto an NFL field by mistake. Because when enforcement vanishes, what fills the void isn't toughness, it's chaos. Now, if this were happening to anyone else, and let's be honest, if it weren't Caitlin Clark, we might already have hearings, press conferences, and 5 types of retroactive suspensions. But since it's her, we get a shrug, a meme, and a bunch of 40-year-old ex-players with Twitter fingers blaming her for being too hyped.
And that's understandable, because there have been fantastic players in the WNBA for a long time. But Caitlin didn't disparage them. She just came in and kind of changed the game with her style. So I think it's one of those things where you have to say, okay, maybe I don't think it's fair based on the previous women who have been in this league, but it's not Caitlin's fault. All she's done is elevate the game for all of us. And I think instead of being pissed off about that, you should be...
Let's also talk about the absolutely Olympic-level mental gymnastics some folks are doing to defend what's happening. It's part of the game. No, it's not. Playing defense is part of the game. Kneecapping someone like you're reenacting a mob movie is not. She needs to earn respect. Excuse me? Since when is respect handed out via flying elbows and intentional blindsides? And shout out to the conspiracy theorists acting like anyone who complains is just trying to protect the white girl. That's cute, because nothing says progressive sports discourse like weaponizing race to excuse literal assaults. Newsflash, accountability doesn't care what color your jersey or your skin is. Bad behavior is bad behavior. And if you need to commit 3 felonies a game to prove you're tough, maybe you're not actually that good. Then there's the lovely suggestion floating around. If the league won't police it, what's especially rich is that while CC is getting bodied nightly like she owes someone money, the WNBA wants to talk about growth, about expansion, about visibility. Yeah, nothing grows your brand like letting the future face of your league get beat up in slow motion for everyone to see. Maybe next season, add cage walls and give the MVP a steel chair.
Kathy Engelbert, where are you? Where are you, Kathy? Nowhere to be found. You are quiet. Quiet as a mouse. It done got real spooky, I know. Nightmare on Elm Street is what I'm talking about. Freddy Krueger style.
And let's talk about Griner for a second. The media can pretend this is still basketball, but when you're standing next to someone who makes LeBron look average and they're playing like the rules don't apply to them, something's off. There's dominant. And then there's, wait, is this legal? Because if someone's towering over the competition and bulldozing like a semi-truck with sneakers, maybe it's time to have some very awkward, very necessary conversations. So what's the solution? Let's start with the basics. Maybe, just maybe, the league could enforce rules. I know, radical concept, but if you hand out fines and suspensions like candy to anyone who deliberately tries to separate CeCe's shoulders from her torso, the message might get across. If not, just put tasers in the ref uniforms and let them zap anyone who confuses basketball with professional wrestling. Or, hear me out, gender testing. Because when you mix biological advantages with no consequences, you get what we're watching now. chaos disguised as competition.
Game serious. You don't have no integrity. You hear me? You allowing these assaults on my precious CC, but you have your favoritism when it comes to certain other players who not even the face of the league. They just hoopers. They ain't bring no awesome revenue. They ain't bring no awesome viewership. They ain't bring y'all out of the shadows to the mainstream. Now we see everything that's been going on.
The clock is ticking. The more they let this slide, the more they encourage a culture where violence is strategy and silence is policy. And eventually, it won't just be Caitlyn. It'll be every player, every team, and every game. Because once you turn your league into a soap opera with bruises, you can't be surprised when the real talent starts walking away and taking the fans with them. So if the WNBA still wants to be taken seriously, they have two choices: police the court or get policed by someone else. Because the only thing more embarrassing than letting your brightest star get assaulted every night is thinking no one's going to say anything about it. And if they don't fix it, then we'll all be watching Caitlyn Clark's career highlights on a compilation titled Assaults That Somehow Weren't Fouls, available now on DVD. Bonus feature, commentary by refs who were looking the other way. The receipts are in and they're time-stamped. This is less let the players play and more let's see how far we can push someone before ESPN has to blur out the injuries.
Maybe WNBA leadership should at least have to go sit in front of some people and answer some very uncomfortable questions. Lord knows I would love to see that. Because Kathy Engelbert and Adam Silver, it seems to be nothing to see here. Please move along.
And let's not pretend this is some organic evolution of the game. No, this is a coordinated culture of unchecked aggression, conveniently justified because the victim is young, white, successful, and here's the sin of all sins: popular. You'd think popularity would protect her. But no. In the WNBA, it's a bullseye. She draws crowds? That's threatening. She changes the ratings curve? Now she's the enemy. It's high school politics and sneakers, even more laughable. The pearl clutching from bitter former players now acting like gatekeepers. She hasn't earned her place. What is this, a sorority hazing ritual? You can't sit with us unless you've been here since 2002 and averaged 5 points a game during the Bush administration. Yeah, sorry, CeCe's resume reads like an MVP cheat code. Not roughed up, physically assaulted. Imagine a league letting it happen, shrugging, then patting themselves on the back for being tough. The NFL would have shut it down with 30 lawyers and a $1 billion lawsuit before the second commercial break. But Caitlyn? Nah, let her get flattened. It builds character and ratings.
There comes a point where people have to use the brain that God gave them and understand that before you write an article, you really need to think about what you're writing. You really need to take a step back, or roll your chair back, open your eyes, and realize that what you write, you might not want to write. It's like an email response to something that you have happen at work. Write it, delete it, and then take a
playground logic in a professional setting. If she's better than me, she must be taken down. No strategy, no class, just hostility masked as hustle. And the WNBA, in all its glorious wisdom, is letting it happen because they're scared. Scared to rock the boat, scared to enforce rules, scared that doing what's right might offend the wrong people. So they say nothing, do less, and hope nobody sues. But someone will, because this isn't going to stay cute forever. The second CeCe's injuries become career-threatening, and you can bet the family's lawyers already have a folder labeled Exhibit A. At this point, even casual fans are asking, isn't this illegal? That's not a question your league wants trending. That's a PR nightmare with a legal invoice attached. And here's the twisted part. The longer this goes on, the more obvious it becomes that the league is banking on her not standing up. Good luck putting that toothpaste back in the tube, because here's what's coming. One day, she's going to walk into a courtroom with a reel of clips, a high-profile attorney, and a perfectly worded statement about workplace safety, negligence, and systemic failure. She'll use her platform not just to win, but to expose. And the WNBA will look around and realize they created their own worst enemy by trying to crush their biggest asset.
I know she's trying to be like this Gandhi figure, try to be like MLK, passive aggressiveness, but peaceful. I get it. But I think it's time for Caitlyn Clark to speak up for herself. She needs to speak up for herself because she's allowing these people like senators talk about her civil rights are being violated, which is
You can already feel the shift. Commentators, analysts, former players, they're starting to flinch. The "this is just part of the game" crowd is getting quieter. The highlight reels are turning into documentaries. The audience is no longer cheering, they're cringing. That's not good for business. That's not good for anyone. And if the WNBA doesn't get serious, the dominoes will fall, sponsors will pull out, parents will stop encouraging daughters to watch, future stars will look at the league and wonder if it's worth it. Because who wants to become famous just to get publicly assaulted with zero backup? The dream starts looking more like a trap. So what now? The WNBA has a decision to make. They can grow up, enforce real rules, protect their players, all of them, and build a league worth watching. Or they can keep pretending Caitlin Clark is a problem instead of a blessing, and watch as the very audience she brought in walks right back out the door. And if they choose the latter, it's not too late. But that clock is ticking, and Caitlin Clark's patience probably isn't infinite. Her bruises are piling up, the cameras are rolling, and the public is watching. This isn't just a league issue anymore, it's a civil rights issue in high tops.